Hey, what's up? Well, I have a rare but golden opportunity to make a video, so I might as well take advantage of it while I can. And I do not know how good my teeth will look since we just ate tacos, but let's get to it. What I want to talk about in this video is how it's I want to share some pictures I made, that pertain to an obsession I used to have. And it was the Willy Wonka chocolate factory. I mean, long before, you know, I was obsessed with colds. And, once upon a time I was in elementary school. It's hard to remember who I was in elementary school simply because my memories of the past were just so overshadowed by who I became near the end of 7th grade that I don't quite recall much about my elementary days and before, or even 6th grade. And that's kind of sad, but at the same time, I don't really want to. I mean, I have enough past, to remember and keep me obsessed with it. So anyway, when I was in elementary school, every single year it looks like, from about 3rd grade through 5th grade for sure, they would make us watch the old 1971 Chocolate Factory movie. And I would become reinfected with the same obsession. Why they thought that was the perfect book and movie for kids roughly 8 through 11, I don't know. Because the actors in that movie are about junior high age, so slightly older, 11 or 12, maybe 13. So, I just recently got reminded of it as I saw it again. Couldn't bring myself to watch it really, but so I want to share some pictures I did with AI. Every year it's like I'd create another drawing. I never knew what exactly I was going for. But then every single year it's like I'd create a drawing, that sort of captured what I liked about the obsession, and it would change over time as I got older and better at drawing. But then every single year, a few months later, as I'd find other obsessions, I'd tear up that drawing so that none of them remain, I don't think, unless I redrew it as an adult. But the thing I don't like about well, obviously I don't like cartoons, but a lot of live action movies, what happens is they take a lot of liberties to make it different than the book. And then if they make multiple versions over the years, they also take a lot of liberties to make it different from the book as well as previous incarnations of the movie. They change the characters so that you could have unlimited numbers of versions of the characters. Eating gives me that cough. You could have unlimited versions of the characters that all have conflicting hair colors and physical appearances. And unfortunately, they're even taking the liberty nowadays to make them black if they're white, but not vice versa. And so just want to talk about that, how that movie always made me crave dolls of the characters, but obviously I never got around to that because it would just be because the characters that I would want would not be the dolls that would be made, and certainly not on the 1/6 scale. Because obviously the protagonist usually matters to me to some extent, but I always get fixated on characters that are either the antagonist and or minor characters. So that, like, my name for this channel is based somewhat on Veruca Salt. I just love that name. I just think Veronica would have seemed more normal and more natural, because pretty much everyone else in the story had a somewhat common name, except Augustus, that's heard of but still uncommon, but it's not as outlandish as Veruca. So my favorite character of the girls, had to have a stupid name like that. But Veronica would have been just so much nicer. So yeah. It's like, that's what I don't like about, live action movies. It's like, how can you make a doll or a good doll of the characters when there's so many different versions that pretty much any doll in the world could represent them in some way. You know what I'm saying? It's like if in one version they're a brunette, another they're a blonde, you know, which color do you give a doll's hair, or which color hair doll would represent the character? You know what I'm saying? Would a Veruca Salt be a brunette, a redhead, or a blonde? You know, in a red dress. Would Violet Beauregard, which I used to think it ended with a D, it has an E on the end, would she have brown or blonde hair or something in between? Even Charlie, you know, he's a blonde in the most famous version, 1971, but in the more modern, I think 2005 version, he's a brunette. Mike TV, well, you can just hide his hair with a cowboy hat, so it doesn't matter as much. And he's one of my favorites. And so, you know, and of course Augustus, you know, the most important thing is for him to be fat, and of course they don't have a lot of that in the doll world anyway. So, you know, because that doesn't sell, you almost have to, I don't know, put fake fat, like a fat suit or something, I don't even know. Or, you know, make him less fat or something. I really don't even know how you go about that. Because fat elementary or junior high boys, you know, dolls of such people just wouldn't sell. In fact, that's about the least likely doll to sell. So, you'd sell a lot more of Veruca Salt and Violet than Augustus, and probably not even Mike TV, although I would buy one. So, and even Charlie, well, he would just be the main protagonist. That's why people would buy him. So anyway, I've always wanted dolls of the characters, and I've always been fascinated with the show, the movie. But the problem is there's just so much conflicting information. You know, there's just so much, like, what version is correct is what it makes you wonder. See, cartoons are the other extreme. It's like, all that matters about them is their agreed upon appearance, however stupid it is. But with live action, it's like they, you know, they could look any kind of way they decide to at the moment, and it changes over time. And so yeah, I've just always wished I could have some dolls of the characters, and, you know, not a little tiny 3-inch thing on a 1/20th scale. I'm talking about like 1/6 dolls. But unfortunately, most of them just wouldn't sell. And they'd be very difficult to make. Because, you know, I mean, it's easy enough to make a girl into a boy, you know? Like Mike TV could be a cute little girl made into a cowboy by removing her hair, or even Kid Core Pistol Pete would work. You know, just a brown-haired, blue-eyed little bitty boy that's cute. But of course, Augustus, you know, he's just too fat. So yeah, I guess I'll go ahead and post this video and say that I like Veruca Salt, but I just wish it were Veronica. And here are some pictures.